Kwe humataru, tatsitayati jatsi, wanda indi, enyomarihute ahetasta indi, tatsita'a geniesta indi. So I said, hello, my friends. My name is Kim. My English name is Kim. My Wanda name is Tatsitayat, which means she puts beads in. I am the cultural preservation officer, and I am here to teach beading today. So that's what I told you in Wanda. I sent kits out to everybody, and those kits included red beads, white beads, and a spool of thread with, or 2 spools of thread and 2 needles. The beads that I sent were size 11. That's one of the most common size beads. And beads are, the bigger the number, the smaller the bead. So if it's like size 15 beads are pretty small, very small beads. Size 11, they're normal, like what a lot of people use. And then the bigger number or smaller, let me see, like size 10, it gets bigger. Size 8 is really big. Size 6, you get to almost like it's a pony bead. So that's quite a bit bigger. So in the beading world, kind of the smaller the bead, the more proficient beader that people recognize you as, and they see that that you're a good beader, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I start everybody off with 10s most of the time. Sometimes I admit, or I do even bigger beads, just to kind of get started, to give you a good, with stitches that are a little bit more difficult, like peyote stitch. But this one is fairly reasonable to do. So I had faith that you all could handle a size 11 bead. And I know a few of you have done some bead work, so you can do it. I believe in you. All right. So what we're going to do today is, I'm going to flip my screen to be here. Let me move my camera a little bit. Ooh. And then it stopped. Hold on. It gets a little. There we go. And I apologize. Red beads always show up a little blurry on here, and I always forget that. So I should have been more cognizant of that. But what I showed on Facebook for the class was to do something like this. What I am going to ask everybody to mute. And if you have questions at any time, you can unmute yourself, but it just makes it, whenever there's like extraneous sounds, it just makes it a little bit more difficult to understand. And please don't get offended if I go in and mute you, if there's some extra sounds going on. So, all right. And of course, at any time, you can unmute yourself to ask questions, or you can put it in the chat. But I am here by myself, so it may take me a little bit to get to the chat, because I'm working with my hands here, and then I'll have to go over to my mouse and get that. So please know I will try to get to you as soon as possible, but unmute yourself to ask any questions if you need to. So this might be a little bit better showing that. This is what I showed on Facebook of what we're going to do. And as I was working through class to make sure that we were able to do it, it took me a while to get to this point of it. And that's only halfway. Like, it took me probably an hour and a half to get to this point, and it's only halfway. And I thought, for a beginner, that's probably not the best way to start. So I modified it to this one. And the thing about beading, that especially these ornaments, it can be modified a lot. I will show you afterwards how to do this if you kind of get the hang of this, then you can easily go to this. All right. But this is what we'll do just to get started, just so that you get a feel for how to do the beadwork on there. All right. I need to take, and please excuse my nails. I intended to get a quick paint on them, but with all the stuff going on, I just wasn't able to do that. Okay, so the beads are size 11. The thread that I sent you is Fireline. This, of course, it shows it backwards, but Fireline 6 pound, and it's what it is actually fishing line, but it's thermally bonded, braided and thermally bonded, so it is very durable. It's not like that Nymo thread or other beading threads that fray a lot. You don't have to use beeswax with this. You don't have to, for the most part, you don't have to worry about going back on it and like it knotting on itself or going through a knot like the Nymo thread does. So to me, it's much better to use. But for those of you that use the Nymo thread, you're more than welcome to use that. I prefer teaching classes with this because the fraying really frustrates new beaders, and I want to avoid that as much as possible. It is pricier than the Nymo thread, but to me it's worth it just because there's not a lot of problems with it. And it doesn't degrade a lot like the Nymo thread does after over time. So it's just a lot stronger thread, and the integrity of your beadwork should stay a lot better than what it would during or if you use the other thread. So I'm going to get this out of the way. I'll show it later. But the needles also that I sent are John James English beading needles. Let me have a package here. Here we go. This is what the package looks like that I got. These come in 25 needles at a time. I got these at Springfield Leather Company, one of my favorite stores. But you can get these Crazy Crow online, Amazon, different at powwows. They usually have these. For size 11 beads, you can use size 10, like what I'm using right now. Or you can go smaller. So needles are like beads that the smaller the number, the bigger the needle. So a size 12 needle is smaller than the 10 beading needle. And the size 10 though it has just a little bit more strength. The eye of the needle is bigger, and it doesn't bend as much as the size 12, and it doesn't break as easily. So especially with beginners, I like to start out with a size 10, and it usually goes through the beads without any problem. Of course, if you're using smaller beads, you would have to downsize the needle. You'll need to go to a smaller needle. Whenever I use with like 13 and 15 beads, I use a size 13 needle, and I usually don't have any problems with that. The only problem I have is that it bends really easily and it breaks really easily. So just be mindful of that. So today, to do this, let me see. To do this one, we're going to start off. We're eventually going to get to this. This is where we're going to get. But to get to this first, we need to start here first. This is 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, and 4 rows. And then once we put it on the ornament, that's the 5th row. If you have a bigger ornament than mine, then you might have to go an additional row or you might have to put more beads in each row to make it longer, but I will explain that a little bit more coming up. So what we're going to do is I think I emailed you that a beading mat works. Like, you probably should get a beading mat if you can. If you weren't able to purchase one, just you need something to put your beads out. I like a paper towel or something, and that just helps the beads from rolling all over the place. Then I dump out my beads. I highly suggest you don't dump the whole thing, like just a little bit at a time, because one little flick of the mat and beads go everywhere. So if you don't want to be picking up beads for days and days, then probably you need to just put a little bit at a time. And these white beads, we're really not going to use very many at all. So you just need a few out at a time. Honestly, that might be enough for the whole ornament right there. What I am going to ask you is to watch this part. How about, let's say at each step, watch it and let me explain it to you each step before you try to do it. Just because if you're trying to do it while I explain it, you're not hearing all of the instructions. And then, and I will try to say each step multiple times, but whenever you are trying to do it as I explain it, then you're not getting all of it, and it causes frustration. And if you've had a beading class with me before, one of my mottos is don't worry, bead happy. And whenever you're frustrated, things just don't go right. Things just tend to start going wrong. If you're frustrated, it'll just keep getting worse and worse. And so, and many natives believe whatever the energy that you're putting into your piece, that piece will carry that energy. So you don't want to be putting a bad energy into your piece. All right, everybody with me so far? Anybody have any questions yet before I start? We good? All right, I'm going to, let me show you the, whoops, upside down, there we go. I have this big spool of thread. So today, I'm just going to show you how much thread I usually get out. Today, I do an arm and a half. That will probably, more than likely, unless you have bigger ornaments, an arm and a half length of thread will be enough to finish this without having to stop and add more thread to it. So an arm is like stretching it out one, and then like a half. So I'm gonna cut it off right here. I have a good pair of scissors right here. And I'm going to cut that. You really need good scissors to get a good clean cut. Otherwise, it'll kind of fray at the end. The thread won't, but you might get some jaggedy pieces. So you really want to make a good cut through there. And so you get your needle. I have several already threaded, so I need to. Okay, so this part I wanted to show you. Because this is thermally bonded and braided, the thread, it is circular. So that makes it hard to get it through a needle. You need to flatten the end, and you can do that with pliers, like to flatten the end like this. But what I prefer to do is just scrape my fingernail, scrape it through with my fingernails, and that flattens it enough to get through the needle. And then I thread my needle. And I did say if you need reading classes, you will probably need them for this. So how about I stop there and everybody thread your needle, like cut your thread and go ahead and thread it. All right. And then you can let me know when you get that done. Elizabeth wins. She got it threaded first. I'm kidding. There's not a competition on this, but
I'm using a magnifying glass.
good for you.
I'm using a magnifying. There's no way I could have done this.
You've beaded enough that you realize what you need. That's good.
Absolutely. May I ask, are we doubling the thread? Am I pulling the thread
No.
all the way?
I'm
No?
sorry. I told you that we're only using one, so
Okay.
don't pull it all the way down.
Thank you. I need to fix it now.
So, okay, what do you mean not all the way through?
I'll show you and just, but like, don't bring it all the way down so that they're level with each other. Like what you pull through, you'll just pull about a foot through. Let me see if I can show you.
Okay, like I am extremely slow, so like, okay, pull about a foot through. Like, how does that knot off? How is that stable? Like, what am I?
We're going to do a stop bead. So I will show you. That's the next step. But here, like, one of your pieces of thread is going to be long and the other one is only going to be about a foot long. Does that make sense?
Yes. That is 12 inches.
It doesn't have to be like super exact. You don't have to get a ruler out and say, okay, that's whatever. Just, it's kind of what feels comfortable to you. All right, I see a lot of people done. Are most of us done? Oh, wait a minute. Help. Bridget, are you the one that needed help? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you still need help?
No, I cut it back open. I had doubled it.
Okay. No knots or anything.
Like, no knots.
Is that Bridget speaking or?
Yeah, I'm Bridget.
Okay. I'm sorry. I wasn't sure who was speaking yet. So we're not going to do any knots right now. All right.
Aye, aye, Captain. No knots.
We will eventually, but not right now. Oops, that's wrong. Do I need to wait for anybody else? We good? Okay. So right now, what we're going to do is put a stop bead. I'm trying to have multiple things, multiple steps in here and show you the different steps. So I'm going to thread another one really quick. So now what we're going to do is put a stop bead on. Okay, a stop bead is a bead that you won't be using, is not part of the beadwork, but it will be, it's just to stop your beads from falling off your thread. And then we're going to put 6 beads of red, 1 white, 6, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 6 times. All right. So I'll show you how to do the stop bead, but this is what we want to do right now. The stop bead is here, but it's temporary. We'll eventually like pull, it's just on there and I'll pull it off. I don't think, there's a few of you that have like a few kind of different beads in some of your bags, but most of you don't. So if you could just use a white bead as your stop bead. So here's my needle that I just threaded, and here's the one tail and then the other tail that's a lot longer. So the intention is that we're going to put our stop bead on and let it come down to about like where there's about 4 inches on our thread on the longest tail, and then we're going to go back through it. And so that kind of creates a stopper so that your beads won't fall off. So I just got one bead on, and I'm going to pull it all the way through until there's about 4 inches. And then my thread is coming up through the top. So I'm going to take my needle and go from bottom to top. And so that's going to create like a little loop on the outside of my bead. But I'm not, like, if you kind of pull it with your fingers, it'll move back and forth. It's just creating like a temporary stop right there. No, it's not actually tied on. It's just got like one loop, so it's easy to move around. And then from there, that's a game changer. Ariana didn't show you the stop bead. I don't know if I showed Ariana the stop bead. You don't always use a stop bead on everything, but let's go ahead and just do the stop bead. I don't want to move through this really quickly. So everybody do your stop bead. Done. She's quick. Done. All right. So I want you all to realize that this, I think I've said it several, done, but it won't move around. Not even when you like kind of pinch it and move it down.
I think I did it wrong. I looped it from the top, and I mean, it's done, but no.
Well, we do want to be able to pull it off once we're done with this part.
And I'm going to try it again. Thanks.
Yeah, let me show everybody one more time. I don't have anything on there. I pulled that one off. I'm going to get a white bead. And I'm just going to pinch it with my fingers. And oh my gosh, my fingernails look horrible. I'm sorry. But I'm going to pull it all the way down to about 4 inches. And so I'm not going to do anything special yet, except from my needle, I'm going to go from bottom to top and then pull that all the way through. So what it does, it creates like a little piece of thread. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. A little piece of, and it's not going to show, especially since it's a white bead. I don't know if on this black one, if it'll show. If you can see that, there's a little piece of thread on the outside, and that's what creates the temporary hold. But it should be able to move around easily, go back and forth when you pinch it. It won't fall off, but it should be able to go back and forth.
Okay, one more question real quick. This is Bridget. Is that 4 inches from the end of that short string, or like 4 inches from the bottom?
From the bottom of the long strand.
The bottom of the long strand?
Yeah.
Okay, wow, we are really slow over here. All right.
That's okay.
Thank you.
That's why we're going slow right here.
Fuck. Really extra slow for me, please.
So I had it right the first time.
So what it should look like, your needle,
you can just
have your needle, and then here's my short strand.
Fine.
And then my long strand, I'm going to pull, 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 and then there's my stop bead, and then there's the 4 inches.
Okay.
Oh, I get it. These
Okay.
will probably be doing 2 needle beading on their free time.
Okay.
Holy
So
fuck.
I've sent it through once.
I muted that back right. Oh, Jesus.
Nope.
I hope everybody's having a great Saturday. Wow. All right.
So is everybody good with that? Need I wait just a little bit more? Bridget, you all got it?
Yeah, I got it. I wound up just cutting that other one. I couldn't read
Okay.
it.
Okay. Yeah,
But
that
no,
was
perfect. Thank you. I did it at the top and not the bottom, and I did not know that. Thank you.
sounds good. All right, we good to move to the next step?
Yep, we finally got it.
Yay! All right, so now does everybody have an ornament about this size? It's 2.5 inches in diameter. Does anybody have anything bigger than that? No, I don't have any feedback just yet. So I'm going to assume everybody has one this size, and we're going to do this. So we're going to do 6 red beads, 1 white, 6 red, 1 white, go back and forth until you've done it 6 times. So you should have 6 1 6 1 6 1 6 1 6 1 6 1. So the easiest way on beads to pick them up, that you spread them out on your beading mat or whatever you have, and if you notice, they naturally, it's like not wanting to focus, is it? But they naturally lay that the hole is up. So I kind of call this beading magic, but and it's really not magic, but if you barely put the tip of your needle on that bead, it kind of magically just kind of hops onto your needle. So you pick up 6 and 1, 6 and 1, 6 and 1, 6 and 1. So go ahead and do that. And I will tell you, it is very important that your counting on all of this needs to be exact. Like I always double check my beads, because if you mess up, then that can mess up your whole project and you end up having to rip out more than you need to. So just be mindful of that. And you can go ahead and put the, so that'd be 7 times 6, 42 beads on. 6 1 6 1 6 1 6 1. And so it should end up like this. I don't know why that's not focusing well on the beads. Can everybody see that okay? And it just looks blurry to me. A bit blurry. I'm gonna keep trying to, while you guys are doing that, I'm gonna keep. Now it's got a blinking light. I don't know what I did to it. Okay, good deal. I'm gonna stop the video just for a second. Mm. There we go. That's a little bit more. I think you can see the holes in the beads. I don't know why I always forget that that red doesn't show up great on camera. Okay, are we ready to move on to the next step? Don't want anybody to get frustrated because I'm going too fast. I don't see anybody waving your hands or telling me to stop.
All right, Brittany's never done beading before, so she's got like 1.5 more sections to do.
Okay, I will wait just a second. Thank you for letting me know.
Right.
I don't know how to mute it. Oh god.
I will tell you, maybe I'll wait till the next session to tell you a little secret of a tip. But Bridget, if you can let me know when Brittany is ready to go. Looking for. Oh.
All right, she's ready.
All right, awesome. So what we're going to do is make a circle like this from this. All right. So I'm going to. I'm going to kind of move these out of the way. I'm going to hold this, or I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to kind of move it so that stop bead is down below a little bit because I don't want to go back through them. So my needle and my thread is coming out from the top here, right? So what I'm going to do is take my needle and go from the bottom. I'm not going to go through the skip bead or the stop bead. I'm going to go all the way through those one more time. All right. And so that's what's going to cause the circle. So I'm going to take my needle and go through them. And so it's going to be a little awkward at times. But I'm going to go through all of those. And sometimes you can't get your needle through that all in one try. So like you can go halfway or whatever and then pull it. Like pull it all the way through and then finish the rest of it all the way back to the stop bead. But you don't want to go through the stop bead. And then once you get all the way through, it creates this circle. And then once you get there, you're going to take the stop bead, you're going to pinch it like this and pull it off. And now your beads won't fall off because it has a circle and you have 2 layers of thread through there. So I'm going to let you guys go ahead and do that. And if you have any problems, go ahead and unmute and ask, and I will walk you through it again, or you can put it in the chat. And just like almost any type of did you move it down to that bead? Sorry, it went off. Move it down to the bead at the end of the thread. Like I moved all of those, that strand of beads. Yeah, I did go all the way down to the end. And then I looped it around again. I looped it through them again, but don't go through that stop bead. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you didn't move it down. You moved it all the way down to the end and then took off both the stop bead and the bead that you looped earlier, so it could take both two off.
Just one. I just did the stop bead is the one that I put the loop through. There's only one bead that's the stop bead.
Okay.
So you pull that stop bead off once you're done.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Shannon, you must have beaded before. You've done, no, I know Elizabeth has.
I haven't actually, but I do a lot of creating and stuff. So
Yeah,
I'm
crafting, like you're able to, you know how certain things work. I think
yeah, I take a lot of art classes, so
oh yeah, that's great.
Definitely an artist. So
very good.
Yeah. Yeah, this is fascinating. Thank you. I really appreciate it. This is
absolutely. We have a hot mess right now. Please give me a minute. Yeah, no problem. That's why the longer your thread, the more mess that can happen. That's why I only did an arm and a half length. That is enough to finish the project, but it's not, it's a little bit more manageable than if you do like 5 yards or something. If you find that is the arm and a half is just still too much, then you can cut that down to half that size, and then I can show you how to knot that and add more thread whenever it's needed. Angie's done. I know she beans. She's a brick stitch specialist. She's laughing at me. I was hoping Ariana could join in on some of these classes. She's a busy
I
girl.
was too. She
Yeah.
was actually, we thought she was going to have to come home yesterday. They found out that their aunt passed away yesterday back in DC.
Oh no.
So she was upset, but she ended up not coming home. But I think she's doing homework today.
Yeah.
She better be doing homework.
Karen and Katie, is there anything I can do to help you guys? Or anybody else, if you're struggling, I can show anything else again.
Click the buttons because it's a stupid Mac. So this is Karen, and I figured out what I did wrong, and I've got it untangled now and am in repair mode now.
Okay.
So I might be a little bit behind, but I'm good to go if you want to go on to the next step.
All right.
I know what I did.
Does anybody else need me to wait for a little bit? Nobody's answering now. I'm gonna assume, you can stop me at any time, but I'm gonna assume everybody's ready to move on to the next step. So what I do here, just to make it secure, this is where I do put a knot. I put one at the beginning and one at the end. And if you need any, if you need to add thread to it, then you would put a knot then. But I have this here and I'm gonna put, it's just an overhand knot that I'm gonna do once and twice, like if you're gonna make a knot in your shoe. So the overhand and twice. And I like to leave just a little bit of slack in there, but don't make it, don't pull it super tight, just a little tiny bit of slack. And then I take my needle and go through that white bead. So you can go ahead and do that, and then I'll stop for a second. And then it kind of pulls it so that knot goes through that bead. You can see that knot is on the other side of the white bead. That kind of strengthens it and it gives it just a little more reinforcement. I leave the tail until I get all the way around one row, and then I cut this tail off. I snip it off. You can like put a needle on that and thread it back through there, but that's we already have one knot in there. I think you're good. So put a knot and then pull it through that bead. Any questions so far on that? That's kind of the easy step, hopefully. Oops. I usually like to have a scraping tool to pick up my beads, and I've noticed some of my beading friends, local beading friends, they use a plastic spoon and it works awesome. But like something like this I got this at Joann's, I think, but it's just like a little triangle and it's like 3-dimensional. So it's a tray, but it works really well to scoop. And so I like to keep my colors separate, but I've been kind of haphazard doing this. And if it's only 2 beads or 2 colors, you're not, and they're very different colors. So it's not like they're getting mixed, like I won't have a problem mixing them together. If it was like an orange and a red, I really wouldn't do this. I would keep them very separate. But a plastic spoon works, that you can kind of scrape them to keep them separate, and then you can scoop them up if you need to. And because picking up one bead at a time is really difficult. It's not the best thing to do. So these scrapers are awesome. These little bead trays. I also got these, I think, well, for the ones for here, My.Nation, these are Fiskars. I got them on Amazon, but I've gotten them at Joann's, Hobby Lobby. I'm sure Michael's has them. Almost any craft store is going to have those, but it's spring loaded, and it locks like this, and then you pull it down, and that makes it open up. It's fabric scissors, I think, but they're really good for thread. How are we doing? The triangle is called actually a beading tray, I believe. And it should be, where I got it in Joann's, it was near the beads. Kind of the beading tools that they have. I think they have different like threads and tubes and all different kinds of things. But there's also, I've misplaced it, but there's like a little scraper. I think they have them at Joann's as well. But I really like that is long like that. But they also, I think, kind of high-end restaurants, they use them to scrape the scraps or crumbs off the tablecloths. But they work really well for this too. That metal, really thin metal, helps it to get in all the nooks and crannies to pick up those beads.
Thank you.
Absolutely. How are we doing? Do we need to wait, or can we go on? I'm gonna go on if unless I hear somebody cry out. All right. A Lunchable tray. That's awesome. That's so smart. I like that, Angie. Okay. So this next step, we're going to go from this to this. Yep. All right. So each is going to look like a little flower. Each of these little petals, I put on 20 beads, 20 red beads, 1 white bead, 20 red beads, and then I go through a white bead, and then I keep doing that all the way around. So let me get to here, and let me show you. I'm going to show you my little trick that I was going to show you. This is beads. A lot of times you can buy them on a hank of beads, and I prefer to work off the hank. You can take your needle, and I didn't send you hanks, but if you purchase beads at a later time, or you already have some beads, you can kind of pull up some beads, and you can stick your needle through that. You can do a whole lot of beads at once. And you guys are probably going to be cussing me for not sending you hanks. And then I make sure I have 20. I do like 5 at a time. And 5, 10, 15, 20. And then I had an extra bead, so I'm going to push that off. I'm going to do one white one, and then 20 more. Every one of these petals is going to be 20 red, 1 white, and 20 red again. And this is where you need to be exact on counting your beads. 5, 10, 15, 18. So I need to add 2 more beads. 19, 20. And I'm going to pull that down to my circle. And see, like I'm coming out of this white thread. So I want to go to the adjacent white thread right next to it. And I want, or white bead, I'm sorry. And go through that bead. And then pull all the way through. And then I will do the next one. So 20 red, 1 white, 20 red, and then go through the white bead next to it. I prefer to go right to left, and I think a lot of right-handers prefer to do that way, but not everybody's like that. So if you prefer to go right to or left to right, you can just flip that over and work the other direction. But whatever direction your needle or your thread is coming out of that first white bead, that's the direction you need to go. If it's not going that direction, then you need to just flip it over. So I'm going to work on adding all my petals. You should end up with 6 petals at the end. So this one is going to take a while, especially you guys counting all of your beads. And this will take a while, so if you want to unmute and just kind of leave it on, that's fine. That way you don't have to stop and unmute to talk or whatever. Anybody has any issues, please let me know.
Can you show me the design really, really quick?
Yep.
Yeah,
The
just move your camera just for a second because the loops.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, I accidentally put an extra white. Okay, thanks.
So it's 2120, and then you'll go through a white on the circle. And then 2120, go through a white. So quiet, I feel like I should sing or something, but I know I shouldn't. Y'all wouldn't hate me for that.
Are these beads Preciosa beads?
Nope, they're Czech seed beads, so they're made in the Czech Republic.
Okay.
Which, yeah, there are some Preciosa that are, let me look, that's kind of more of a brand instead. Ones I,
Yeah, the
let me
shape
look.
is similar.
Yeah, let me look, they might be. Preciosa is a brand of them. So let me look really quick. Yeah, actually they are traditional Czech seed beads, Preciosa.
Okay. I decided to be a rebel and do white where the red should be.
Yeah, that's great. I should have said that you guys can create your own pattern or whatever. And just because I sent more red than white, but it should be able to make it all the way around.
Okay.
These would also look awesome with like this one. I did silver in between there, but you could do like crystals there to really jazz it up to make it really pretty. You can use bigger beads as those centers. That's okay. The main thing is just making sure that these stay the same size. The ones coming down. The good thing about this, it's very versatile that you can do a lot of things with it. This one I made with bugle beads. And so it was the same concept, just a little bit different, but it's very, very versatile. The beads, I got these from Shipwreck Beads, which is an amazing store. Angie, have you been to Shipwreck Beads? Oh my gosh, you're gonna freak out if you go. Ever.
I know we have not been down there to go.
It's amazing. It's like a Walmart just full of beads. It's crazy. I about had a panic attack whenever I went.
I remember when you did that.
But they have great online sales. They have usually free shipping if you go over a certain amount.
Oh.
And so I highly recommend them. Crazy Crow is another one, but they have like you have to have minimum purchase. But if you're buying other things like for traditional regalia or different things, then you can fill that card up pretty quickly. So, but I think like minimum purchase like 150, or they do freight charges and everything. There's a lot of online shops. Of course, I can't think of any right now. Delicas Beads is a native lady. She's out of Tahlequah. Lisa Longcrow. And there's a lot on Facebook that they sell these check beads. Michael's has started selling check seed beads, the size 11. You just have to make sure that you look, because they put like size, I think 8s with the size 11. So, or they have multiple sizes and they're all together, and they don't. I'm sorry, those are the Mayuki beads, the Japanese beads. There's seed beads as well, like these, but they are a lot more uniform.
Yeah.
So
I used them once for a pair of earrings. They're not as easy to work with.
No, the Mayuki, like the sizing, like size 11 Mayukis are bigger than these check seed beads that are size 11. So you just have to be mindful of that. Delicas I love working with Delicas because they're almost always uniform, but they're cylindrical, so they don't do well for certain projects. Like probably this one, they might be okay, but the more like whenever you're doing the smaller things like this, they might not work great. They're really good in loom work and peyote stitch because they're cylindrical and so uniform that they just kind of pop into place, and I love them. And the color selection is absolutely amazing for Delicas. Bridget, absolutely. I would love Delicas. So I have quite the collection at home. I don't have them here at the tribe for Delicas because they're not traditional. They don't look traditional, but I prefer them just because of the color choices for my boys. Almost all of their regalia is Delicas just because of the color choices. They're bright and everything. Joshua's is purple, and it's really hard to find a good purple check seed bead. Because the dyeing process for beads is difficult. So purple is a hard color to find. And of course he wanted purple. So most anything traditional check seed beads are probably the way to go. And then you can use Mayuki. They're more uniform. They're just the sizing's different. Probably like a Mayuki 13 is probably about the same as a check seed bead 11. If that makes sense. I know the 15s of the Mayuki are almost exactly the same as check 13s. Because I've mixed and matched them in different projects. Bridget, I saw that you're going to be one of the vendors at First Americans Museum Winter Market. Is that right?
Yes, I am.
What
I'm
do
so
you
excited.
sell?
A bunch of beadwork if you want to see it.
Awesome. Very cool.
I have all kinds of other stuff too, like prints and stickers and pins. I'll have a QR code for apparel because I was not able to get any of that in time. And then if it gets here in time, I'll have eyeshadow palettes also.
No way. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I'm excited about that. I hope to be there. Well, since my mom fell, I don't know if I'll be able to make it, but Brian Waitula, I'm like a collector of all of his animals that he does, and that's where he's this year's animal is a turtle with a little war club. So it's like,
I want one.
I've got to get one of those.
Well, if you don't make it out, let me know and I can walk around and like take a video of stuff for you so you can see and just pick stuff up for you if you want.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and I
Kenny's
saw,
assisting.
yeah,
Put him to work.
good. I saw Kenny Glass will be a vendor there. It looks like it's going to be a good show. I'm really excited about that for them.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of us out there. It's gonna be interesting for sure because
Yeah,
it's their first one.
yeah. How's everybody doing? Are we struggling or doing good? Just takes a while to get, I know it takes a while to get all the way around.
I'm starting my last petal.
Yay, very good.
Kim, you were saying something about different sizes because I use a size 10, and
Yep.
but you were at different types of brands or different types of beads. It sounds to me like there's different sizes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, you know what I mean? Like I use a check size 10. So and the Delica size 10 is not the same size.
Oh no, Delica 10 will be a lot smaller. And I don't even know if a Delica has 10. I have 8, 10s, and 15s of Delicas. They just have like certain ones. But Delicas are quite a bit smaller than seed beads.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real quick, I'm on the last petal. Do I pull it? I'm having issues.
It's a little bit hard to get through that last white
yeah,
bead,
okay. All right,
but
so-
it's just something you just kind of have to force it.
okay, thanks.
Uh-huh. I was trying to look and see if I had Delicas on any of my beadwork today, but
I do. Let me look.
Oh, she's looking. This has all different sizes. I like to use different textures for my beadwork. So these on the outside are size 11s. These are crystals. Actually, these might be 10s on the outside, actually. Crystals. These are size 11. Oh, there's some Delicas on
I
it.
have,
Yeah.
I have no idea what size these are.
11 Delicas. These are crystals, and then these are cut beads. They look like size 10, even maybe a size 9. And then some circular beads. But and these are copper beads here. This is like looks like about 6 millimeter round bead. It's some kind of agate stone. And these are copper. And these are actually freshwater shells that have copper on them. But I like to use all different kinds of beads for more contemporary beadwork to have different textures and everything. So that's why I don't just stick with one kind of bead. I like to switch it up a lot.
They're getting ready to reopen the gift shop at the hospital I work at, and the lady
Uh-huh.
wants to make earrings so she can sell them and I guess do like
Awesome.
or something. I was like,
Yeah.
cool.
That's great. I love to hear that.
Yeah, all because of you, Kim.
I'm sure others had their handiwork in that too.
Well, yeah, but you taught Anna, who taught me. But she does some beautiful stuff. Like I've got like 4 people at my job that have her lanyards and earrings.
Really?
And
Did
pockets.
she loom them? I know that.
No. So she looms for bracelets, but other than that, she pretty much just does peyote for the lanyard.
Really? That's awesome.
Yep.
Any issues, anybody?
On my last one, because of course I miscounted.
It happens. I tell you, Thursday I was trying to do all of these and get like different steps done. And I can't tell you how many times. I think I was just rushing it. So of course I just kept making more and more errors. And then this morning I took it to the hospital to work on while I was sitting with Mom. And she just kept like, do this for me, do that, do that. I'm glad she's getting
Yep.
she's getting bossy again, so she's getting back to normal.
I got one of those. Gigi a couple of years ago had, I don't know what happened to her, but she had like a little sundowners thing. Good
Yeah.
Lord.
Oh goodness.
I was like, oh my God. Is everybody having Thanksgiving this year in person?
I don't know what we're doing because my mom.
Yeah. We are. We're all getting together.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Oops. Angie, what kind of thread do you use?
I like Fireline, but I like
8-pound?
8 pound. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I think I'm too rough on stuff, so I snap the sticks usually.
gotcha. For all of Joshua's regalia, I used 8 just so that'd be a little bit more durable.
Yeah. But I think Anna has the big spool like you have of 6, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really? I don't even have this but I got this for here, but it's like
Yeah.
huge.
Uh-huh. She's been using it for a couple of years.
Yeah, this is 500 yards or 1,500 yards. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it is pricey. But it's a good investment because you'll use
Yeah,
it.
it is. It is.
With that 8-pound, if you go to smaller beads, you might have issues going back through that several times.
Yeah, when I did the earrings with the Delicas, I had to go down
Yeah.
the thread.
With a gourd rattle I beaded, I had to use 4-pound because I
Oof.
used 13 size 13 beads.
Yeah.
In parity stitch, you go through it several times. So
Yeah. And I also found like with my earrings, like, I don't know if I wasn't like pulling tight enough, but if you use Mop and Glow, it makes them stick.
Yeah, and that's that it's not because you're not pulling tight enough. That's just how it
But
works.
yeah.
So I've seen people doing Mod Podge even that they
Yep.
there, but I do. It wasn't Mop and Glow, but it was some kind of floor wax that I used to make it stay in place. I don't make a whole lot of earrings anymore because I can't wear earrings.
Yeah.
It hurts my head. So
The really cool stuff.
not right now. Well, right now I've been doing ribbon skirts, but I've got like 2 pair of Hey Dudes to bead and bracelets and necklaces for gifts.
Yeah.
I didn't wear a ribbon skirt today. I'm not I'm at work, but I'm not technically at work. So.
No sandwich in the fridge if you want it. You're welcome.
think 360. Got a few of you done, I think. Or am I reading from last time? I think, yeah, a few of you are done. Is everybody else kind of getting there? Almost all the way around the 6 petals?
More petal. Getting there. I think we're on, I'm on petal 5 and I think Katie's on 5 or 6.
Okay,
Ernie just finished.
awesome. We're gonna make her a natural beater yet.
Oh yeah.
Try not to knock them all over.
She said, if I don't knock them all over first, I've got these trays
Oh yeah.
that rotate.
Huh. Oh wow, that looks cool.
And she knocked it.
I like that idea though of a rotating one.
They're from Target, but I don't know if they have them all the time or if it was just like in their like dollar section, but they're so handy.
Yeah, I like that. Oops, somebody posted on Facebook. They can't find the Zoom. There she is. Sharon is done. I think we have a couple of Sharons in here. Or Shannon and Sharon, sorry. Hi, Brenda. Brenda, on this, what we are recording, so we will get it. I will send this out probably on Monday because it takes a few hours till I get it. And then I will email it out on Monday, the link. But what we've done is we've done this circle and then we're adding the petals. And then we'll bring that down and it'll eventually look like this is where we're at right now. So everybody is working on their petals. We're get that to that point.
Anna says hi, Kim.
And tell her I said hi.
She's doing homework. She says.
She is doing homework.
Mhm.
She's being a good girl. How's everyone doing? And once we get this initial step, this initial row, all the other rows are just like it. So once we get through this part, it's going to be easy for y'all to continue. It will just take time. It's not something that you'll get done in 5 minutes. I see Katie, I think Katie, like on her hand, her leaning on her hand. So it looks like she's ready to move forward. She's moving the she's moving the camera so it's not on her. Are we ready to keep going?
I'm done, but Katie's still finishing her last one.
That was Karen. Okay. All right. I'll
Yeah.
wait.
I'm Karen.
Okay.
Hey,
I'll wait.
I'm Mary's mom. You know Mary Hicks? I'm her mom.
Yes, of course I do. Great.
And Katie is Mary's sister.
Very
That's
good.
my sister. Her
Awesome.
sister.
We love Mary.
Apparently, we're the slow ones in the family.
No.
I have nails on. and
Yeah,
I didn't
that
think
makes
this
it hard.
through.
Yeah, that does
I
make.
didn't think this
You're
through. Sorry, everybody.
fine. And once we get through this, everybody can kind of work on their own pace. And I'll show you. What I'll do is go ahead and show you how to finish up. And Elizabeth, that's fine. I'll show you how to finish up once you get all 3 rows done, and then I will just kind of stick around for a while, and you can kind of do it at your own pace. All right?
Thank you.
Absolutely. Shannon's eyes were crossing. Yeah, every once in a while you need a break on this, and it's not something that you always are able to do all in one sitting. So I'm not going to force you all to finish this right now, but I will show you how to finish, and then I will send you the recording so you can go back and watch it whenever you are to that point, if you don't remember exactly what I say. Do you do any 2 needle? Yep, I do 2 needle. Bridget.
I knew it.
Yeah, not for this, but for bead embroidery, I do 2 needle. To me, it's a lot faster.
Want to learn how to do it because I do flat stitch, and so I know it will help make my things a little less crowded.
Yeah,
and
it
more
does.
even. But oh my gosh, like even this is so hard. I just started learning this year.
Yeah. It's good to start with the just 1 needle first, to kind of just so that you realize how things work. I don't recommend like a beginner doing 2 needle because it's just too confusing with the 2 different. But once you have a good handle on it, then yeah, the 2 needle is so much faster, and it lays really well, and you're able to do the spacing is even and everything. So yeah, I mean, I did this 2 needle and everything is uniform and the spacing's really good on it. So
The spacing is so even. Yeah, 2 needles the one I was trying to say I wanted to learn the other day. Reverse 2 needle. Is there a such thing as reverse 2 needle, or is Keenan just bullying me?
That is beautiful, that bracelet.
Yeah,
We are
you.
done.
Okay, awesome. I don't know if there's a reverse 2 needle. I don't know what that would be. But yeah, Bridget, I'll try to do a 2 needle class one of these days. All right, so everybody is to this point, right? Anybody need me to stop? To wait just a little bit longer? Nope. All right, so this last white bead, because there might be that knot there, and there might be that we have several layers. Sometimes it's hard to get through there, but you just kind of have to wiggle it through and get it through there. And so this is where we do a step up. If you do peyote, you're familiar, or if you do tubular peyote, you're familiar with a step up. So we're here and we want to go to here. So what we want to do is go through all of these beads, all these red beads, and come out this white bead right here. That way we're ready. It's like a, in peyote, you do a step up, and that's where my knot is right there. So I kind of have to wiggle it around that knot to get through that first bead. You're going to go through all of those beads.
Did she go through the white one too?
I will go through the white one. Go through and then go all the way through those 20 beads and then 20 red beads and through that one white bead. And then from here, like my thread is coming out. Let me lay this flat so you can see it. So from here, my thread is coming out this white bead. So I'll add 20 red, 20 red, 1 white, and then 20 red again, and then connect to go through this white bead. And then 21, 20, go through that next white bead. Go all the way around again. So it's just the same thing that what we did this first time around. You're just going through those white beads again. The only thing that you have to be mindful of is every time you go all the way around and you finish at, like, you'll go all the way around and finish right here, and then you will have to go through those 20 red beads and then the white bead to get to the next step. Does that make sense? So right now I'll put 20 beads on, 20 white, 20 red, 1 white. And you can switch it up if you want to do 20 white right now and then put a red bead in between. It just helps to have that middle bead to be a different color so you know which one. They could all be one color, but it just makes it a lot easier to all be the same. 15, 20, white. So I got 20, 1, 20, and I'm going to go through that next white bead. I'm going to go all the way around, and then I'll do that step up, just like what I did. Any questions? So on this ornament, before you get too involved in that, I'll show you this really quick. For this ornament, I did 3 rounds. So 3 rounds of the 20, 120. So it came out to look like this. All right, so this one right here just has 1. I did another one and then a third, doing it the same way each time. From here, this is where I'm going to go ahead and show you how to finish it off. So if you can pay attention to this point, and then I'll email it to you. You can do that. You can do that later. I put that on top of my ornament, and then I'll kind of pull all of this down. Oh, I didn't do the step up. I need to do that. And okay. I need a needle really quick. It's easiest to do most of this off of the ornament, because once you get on the ornament, it gets a little, it moves around a lot. I did notice the other day I taped it on. So once you get to this point, like just use some Scotch tape if you want to kind of tape this so it's not moving around if you have issues with that. I still didn't do the step up. So the step up, you'll still need to do the step up. You'll go all the way through.
Will you move? Well, it's where it's on camera.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you. That's all right.
Like I've gone all the way around. And so I'm going to do my step up, which is those 20 beads. So that I'm coming out the white bead on the very, either the very bottom or the very outer edge, I guess. So I'm coming out that white bead at the very last row. And I'll put that on my ornament. And just kind of pull everything down. And it's not going to lay great just yet, but it'll start closing in as I go all the way around. So I'm going to put 6 beads on, like how we started. 1, 2, 3. My eyes are getting tired. And that's why sometimes this isn't great to do all in one sitting. So I have 6 beads on, and I'm going to go through that white bead next to it. I'm going to do 6 again. And go through that white bead. And I haven't taped this or anything, but you may find that that might help. But you see it's starting to come all together now. It just gets a little tricky holding this and trying to do it. That's why the tape might work better for you. And you'll get like, it'll come undone as you go. The more, like, you'll keep going and you just keep pulling it tight. And I have one more section to do. And I'm going to go through that last white bead. And what you can do is go back through all of those again if you want. What I'm going to do, I'm going under here, and then this little loop here, I'm going to go put my needle through there. So that is like an overhand knot, and just pull tight, and that makes it loose, or it tightens everything up, I'm sorry. But I do that a couple of times. So I'm going under my thread path, right next to my, where it's coming out of the bead. And then I'm going to go through that loop and pull it again. And then I'm going to go up, back. I'm working backwards, so I'm going to go up again. And I just like to do a couple knots in a few places, just for for security. So these ornaments, they're not going to be a high traffic thing, but if this is something that you're going to do, like a necklace or something, then you do want to do several knots. For this ornament, 1 knot is more than sufficient because it's not like a high traffic thing. But necklaces, bracelets, you do want several knots in there in different locations. And then I go through a few beads and then I cut that off. This ended up being a little loose on here. So you could do 5 beads on the bottom, 5, 5, 5 around. I did 6, but it works just fine. But it's, if you can see, it's just a little loose. But that is how you finish it off. Once you do 3 rows around, and then you'll turn it over and you'll do those beads in between each section, and that's what it looks like. So. Before you get too enthralled, if you want to see how I do this one really quick, and I'm not going to go through all the steps, but I started off 5, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, all the way around to make that circle. And then the first one, like we did 20, 1, 20 over here. The first one I did 3, 1, 3, and then I went through around to all the white beads. And I kept increasing it by 2. So this was 5, 1, 5. The next row was 7, 1, 7. The next row was 9, 1, 7, 9, 1, 9. Until I got to the middle, and I think it's 13 or 15. There's 5. It's 15. No, it's 13. 13, 1, 13. And I just realized that it's too tedious for beginners, so to increase and decrease. So what you would do, you would put this on, I think I have another bulb here somewhere. You would put that on the bulb and then you actually start decreasing. So this is 13, 1, 13, so you go back 11, 1, 11, 1, 11, 9, 1, 11, 9, 1, 9, I'm sorry, 7, 1, 7, 5. And so it goes all the way down, like here's where the 13, 1, 13, and then I'd go back down to 11, 1, 13, and 9, 5, 9, 7, 5, 3, and then I did 5 in between here. So this one is a little bit more complicated, but if you're up for the challenge, maybe that can be your second ornament to do. But this one is much easier. It's doing 21, 20 on all 3 rows, and it gives you a good start where to start from. So you guys can just start beading, and I'll hang out here. And if you have any questions, let me know. I don't want anybody to be struggling. I don't want them to get frustrated with this or me or anything else. And get this out of the way. Oh, I was gonna show. Let me grab an ornament, then I'll show you something else. But what you can do, here's another variation. You can take this where I have just increased by 2 each time. You can actually just put that on the ornament there. And then you can do fringe hanging down the bottom from each of those white beads. And so it's not actually going to be enclosed. You'll just have fringe hanging down. And if you have like some crystals or something down here at the bottom to hang off of it, that will weight it down, and it would look really pretty on this ornament. And I would do that if I had any crystals here, but just something to weight it. Heavier beads, maybe some bigger beads, like some kind of crystals or something, would look really nice hanging down from there, and it'd be a really pretty ornament. There's not a lot of rules to this. You can do whatever you want to do. You are only limited by your creativity. You can get crystals at almost any. Joann's has some. Michael's has pretty good selection. Hobby Lobby has some. I don't know about. Yeah, Heather, I will email the directions for the more complicated design. I will need to write them up first, but I will definitely do that. Yeah, you're welcome, Jerry. You're welcome, Elizabeth. But yes, I will work on instructions. We are going to do an ornament contest. And let me look up when I put I think the 22nd of December. No, the 20th of December will be the deadline. I'll post on the Facebook page a place where you can post your picture, and then we'll do a contest of ornaments. This month, the deadline is Monday. So in 2 days, the ribbon skirt and ribbon shirt contest. So especially for the guys, there's only one person that has posted a ribbon shirt. So if you have any men in your life that have ribbon shirts, they didn't have to make them. You didn't have to make them. They just have to look good in them. So post their pictures on there. I got to get my boys to do that. And then the ribbon skirt contest as well. We've got, absolutely, Heather, no problem. And then Heather, we have a ribbon skirt contest going on. So post your pictures of yourself and your ribbon skirt. I'm gonna have a third party. I'll take the pictures, take the names off, and I will have an artist do I might have to get a couple to do the judging on the ribbon skirts and ribbon shirts. Oh yeah, let me show you how to add more threads. So, like, let's pretend I'm getting close. You don't want your thread to get so short that you can't maneuver it anymore. You don't want to get shorter than 6 inches probably. So what you do, like I'm coming out this white one, I'm going to do a knot. So I'm going to go under that thread path, and it makes a loop, and I'm going to go through that. So that makes a knot. And I'm going to work backwards just to hide that knot in here. And like I said, if this was something that is going to have high traffic, I would probably do a couple knots. I like to go to where there are joints, if that's a good word, like where there's an intersection of beads. So like I would go all the way to here. Like we have thread coming here and we have thread here. So I like to go under those thread paths. I keep stabbing myself. Go under that and go through that loop. And you have to be really mindful of your thread. So don't just pull it really quick because it can go in the wrong spot. So be mindful when you're pulling it tight. And I did it. I went to the wrong spot. So you just need to be mindful of that. And then you'll go through a couple beads and then clip that off. And then you'll just get your new thread, you'll thread it and you'll put it one of in the short tail and then the longer tail. And you'll start off like one row beneath, like I'll start here, like I'll kind of go backwards here and I'll go through, oops, that's probably where I started because it was kind of hard to go through there. I'll go through a few red, and I'm just kind of putting it in at a random spot, but I'll go through a few red and go through that white. And I'll pull it until there's like a little tail, like about 4 inches, but you have to be mindful not to pull it all the way through. And then I put my finger over that, and then I go under the bead, that thread path. And then that loop, I go through that loop to create a knot. So this is creating an overhand knot. Pull that, and then I'm going to go through those 20 beads and then that one white bead. And I'm ready to start a new one. Start my next row, or wherever you are.
Great, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I do like to kind of keep this clean. Once I get that attached and I know that it's secure, I go ahead and clip that just so it doesn't tangle up with everything else going on. Once I finally am secure in any location, then that's when I try to clip. I don't know if I told everybody to clip that thread, that tail. Once you go around and put all the petals on, and then you're ready for your next row, that's when I trim up that tail. I like to just make sure it's absolutely secure and nothing's loose, and then I trim it. But then, yeah, I like to keep them trimmed just because things can get caught on it, you get confused and you lose your spot. I ran out of beads. Did it half a third a row? Did you not have, I sent 2 packages, Sharon, 2 packages of red beads. There should have been enough to do that. I was afraid that might happen. Use both, huh? I am sorry about that. I will, if you're not able to find some, I will put some in the mail for you on Monday. Okay, good deal.
Kim, when you email out the directions, would you also email out the brands and things you talked about, like the ones that are on the strip already that it's easier to get off, and the recommended brands of beads?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. I keep hearing Czech and I don't know. Is that
Czech
like
and Czech Republic. Let me type it in here, but I will type it in here. Let me.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Because I bought some beads, but they're Dollar Tree.
Yeah, the problem with Dollar Tree or Walmart or anything like that, they're usually painted beads. They're not dyed, so that, and they're very, like, these Czech seed beads aren't very uniform, but those are way worse. Whenever I started beading, I got some from Walmart, and it was this beautiful bracelet that I brick stitched, circular brick stitched, and it was just bright pink and orange and green and yellow, and it just absolutely beautiful. And I wore it several times and the paint all started coming off. It was just, it made me sick to my stomach because I spent hours and hours and hours on that. And so you really want Czech seed beads or something similar to that. You don't, those cheaper ones are, they're not gonna last very well. And so I, like, here at the tribe, at the cultural center, I went through and I threw away anything like that. I threw away plastic beads. I threw away anything that is not durable, because even if some people say, well, I'm just starting out, I'm just practicing, but I hate to all of my practice go to something that's not going to be useful later on. And if you're okay with that, but then that's fine. But I just don't want to spend like this. I don't want to spend 4 hours doing an ornament and then it all, like, all the paint comes off, you know? So.
Yeah. Is there a way that we can, or I can, send a donation for you sending these beads out to?
No, you don't need to. No, that's what we're here for. So you don't need to do anything like that.
Well, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And you know what? These beads, just like the cost of the beads is pretty low cost. The beads are. It's with beadwork, the main cost is your time that you put into it. I mean, once you start getting, the bigger the piece, obviously, is going to be more expensive, but, or if you're using Delicas, they're a lot more expensive. Like a little vial of Delicas could be maybe like 5 grams of Delicas could be like $5, and which is like about this much and of beads, and that would be maybe like $1 for the seed beads, because that's like not even a half a hank. So it just depends on what kind of beads you use and different things. So no, I do it because I'm pretty passionate about beadwork. If you know me, then you see me passionate about beadwork. But my thing is, I didn't have anybody to go to whenever I was learning how to do beadwork. So I want to make sure everybody has somebody to go to once they're able to. And what I think is awesome, like several of the people that I've taught how to bead, they teach other people. Like Angie, she knows how to bead because I taught her daughter how to bead. Her daughter lived with me one summer while she was she was an intern at the tribe one summer. And I taught her how to bead, and so she went back and taught her mom how to bead. So it's kind of what I want my legacy to be. So I'm just going to sit here and bead on this to finish up this one. And if anybody has any questions as you go, just shout out. And if you need to leave, then by all means, you can hop off and I'll email the recording later.
Kim, is your mom in Springfield or where is she at?
In Joplin.
Okay.
Yeah, she's at Mercy in Joplin.
So like what,
It's
an
not-
hour and a half away?
No, Joplin's only about half
That's right.
an hour. Yeah.
I'm thinking of Tulsa.
Springfield's like a year and a half, an hour and a half.
Okay.
And Tulsa, yeah. We're kind of an hour and a half from everywhere.
My favorite restaurant's in Joplin, right? That cracker thing or whatever it is.
Cracker Barrel?
No, not Cracker Barrel. It's the other one you took us to.
Why did I take you to?
I don't know, but we went there a couple of times and I loved it.
Oh gosh, now I know.
Cheddar's? No?
Yeah, there's a Cheddar's. I
Maybe
might
that's
have.
what it.
Yeah, I think it was Cheddar's.
Okay.
Because I remember there was a time we went to Olive Garden, but
I remember that.
okay, and
That
then
was with the Van Zantens. Yeah.
yes, it was. And then we went to Cheddar's. It is good. It's actually pretty cheap, especially if you got a big group. So that's
Mhm.
one of my favorite things to do whenever I bead or craft. I put on an audiobook. So
Mhm.
we just finished for our book club. We did Braiding Sweetgrass. That was a really good book. I think next we do it once a quarter, our book club. The next one is, I think it's going to be There by Tommy Orange. So if anybody wants to join us, can listen to that book or read that book. One of
I
our
really should read. I never have. I don't know why.
Well,
Me
that's why for me, I feel like I need to be doing something all the time.
Yeah.
So if I'm beading or sewing or whatever, then the audiobook helps. But we're doing books that are by native authors, that it has to be paperback available, and audiobook, so that it makes it easier for everybody. So that's why I'm pretty sure there is next time's book by Tommy Orange. It's a good book. I read it a couple of years ago. Sid West. I think you're related to Sid, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, she
I am.
recommended it to me, and I really enjoyed the book.
Yeah.
I would be interested in knowing more about the book club.
Okay, it's if you follow our Facebook page, it's we post there. Then our next book club will be February. We do it once a quarter. Becky is the one that does that. She's one of my employees, but she will be posting. Was that Karen that said that? I wasn't sure. Who said
Yes.
that. Okay, so Mary will know. I think she came to the last one, so she'll know what it
Okay.
is. But I also, for people that have registered for classes before, I try to email them to let them know what's coming up, because I know not everybody does Facebook, or not consistently at least. So I email out kind of what's coming up in the next month or whatever. So I will email out the link to register for the thing. Excuse me?
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm
Oh.
about to run out of the red bead too. So I'm
Oh,
going to order some
no.
more of
Dang it.
beads.
I'm so sorry. I sure thought
No, I'm so glad to learn how to do this.
I'll tell you what happened, those packages, because I like to have those packets of beads whenever I do classes. That way I don't, and so I had interns doing that this summer, that they packaged up tons of beads. And so I think some of them were just not consistent with how much they put in each bag. Because
Okay.
on several of these, I did them and I just used one bag of beads. So you must have got the short end of the deal. I'm sorry. I thought for sure.
It's not a
Okay. Thought for sure doing
because
that.
I don't think I'll be able to do the whole thing in one sitting anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
And Amazon is very fast,
Yeah.
at
Oh,
least
good.
here in the area.
Yeah. This is what happens when you're talking a lot and beading. I just put 2 whites on there and I just kept going. So I'm gonna have to go back.
I did that on the bottom row. I just left
Yeah.
it
Well,
character.
yep. A lot of a lot of people call that spirit beads.
Yep.
That only the creator is perfect. So a lot of times people intentionally leave errors in their beadwork just because we're not perfect. So
Well, that's my excuse. That's what I did. I left.
there you go. My boys, they get mad at me if I don't put a spirit bead, especially anything for them. If it's something that I'm doing for, like if I'm selling it or anything, or if it's like not a native person that I'm doing it for, they don't really understand that concept of the spirit bead.
Yeah.
But if it's somebody native, they usually do. And so I'll throw one in there. But with my like perfectionism, sometimes that gets the better of me. Like it really bothers me. But
Yeah. Anna can't stand it either.
yeah.
She's like, oh my God. You know, that language class, I helped her with one of her classes because, you know, she's going to Bay Mills. And Ojibwe is a lot like our language. And I'm wondering if it's because we all came from that.
Well, it's not really. I mean, where our language base is Iroquois,
right?
And Ojibwe is, I was going to say it's Anishinaabe, but it's
it is, yeah.
What's the base of it? I can't think. But so Ojibwe, but there are a lot of words that are similar, like Quay.
Yeah.
Quay, and there's a few other words that I've noticed that they're very similar. But they're how they say thank you is Miigwech.
It is, yep.
But they're different language base. The November schedule emailed was great. It was helpful to keep track of everything y'all are doing. Yeah. Thank you, Heather, for that feedback. That helps us know that we're kind of on the right track. This has really been kind of trial and error thing of how we go, that I feel like we're just trying to throw things out there and see what sticks and what doesn't. And so I will continue doing the emailed classes for the month of what's going on.
I know my mom's like, I want to do it, but she can barely use her Kindle.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
I get that too. And it's like, I don't know how to, eventually I would like to be able to do, well, if we do in person, that wouldn't help her either, but I know we have local people that struggle with online stuff. But hopefully like in person we'll be able to do more, especially like at gathering, we'll be able to do some.
Yeah.
But we do hope to do like how I have this camera, this Elmo right now. We hope to have that during classes at gathering as well. I bought 4 of these cameras, so we'll be able to use them for the different classes, and then we can record it and then post it for those people that weren't able to attend.
Awesome.
We're just trying to be a lot more inclusive instead of just the local people here.
No, I love it. I think it's been great. Now trying to get some of the other members of my family.
You know, everybody has a journey, and I mean, they'll come around to it whenever it's their time. I tell you, there was a time, it was probably, I can't remember when Courtney Glass was our princess, but Sherry used to send out all of the beadwork out to everybody to do. Like she would give it to a lot of people. And so I did one of her rosettes on her buckskin dress. And it was probably about 4 or 5 inches in diameter, one of the big ones that's on her dress. And that was the first time I had ever beaded. And I tell you what, it was horrible. I had no idea what I was doing, and it took me hours and hours. And I was like, I am never beading again. I hate this. This is stupid. And I finally finished it, and I was proud of it, but I was like, I'm never going to do that again. And then later on I came to I appreciated it then once I put all that work into it. And then and then I went to a conference several years later, and there were some brick stitch earrings that I liked. I'm like, I bet I could make those. So I looked up on YouTube and learned how to do it. And then so it just kind of progressed from there. So it just wasn't my time at that time that I did it, but I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't something that I wanted to continue. But now it is my time. So I feel like that's for everybody. There's different times that they can do the language, different times they can do the be involved in genealogy or history or anything like that. So, the more that we offer, eventually it'll be time whenever they're ready for it. So.
Well, and it's just so important to Grandma, and of course we've lost 2 of the sisters now, so there's the twins and Gigi and Lonnie are left. So but that's cycle of life. That's what happened.
It is, but it's still sad.
Thanks.
But I tell you, those, like the twins, they get around really well.
Girl, yes, like everywhere around the world.
I feel like they get around better than I do. I mean, they're just like all over the place.
And Aunt Joyce, I swear to God, she's always in Africa.
And is Joyce the one that's an artist?
No, that's her twin sister. That's Aunt Jean.
Okay, she's awesome. I mean, they're just so impressive what they can do.
Yep. No, Joycey was the teacher.
Okay.
And she has apple orchards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
You have such an interesting family. I really enjoy them.
we do. You have no idea. No. Oh boy.
All right, I'm all the way around my second row here. So I'll show you again, just in case you don't remember. I'm going through this white bead. And then I'll go through those 20 beads to go up. So this is my step up. And like
done with mine too.
I'm doing it in 2 different swipes, like I didn't do all 20 at once. And go through that white bead. And so now I'm ready for my third row of 21, 20 each time.
Can you show me how to start the third row? That's where I am too. Just to make sure I'm not.
Yep. So it's just the same that you just do 21, 20, and then go to the next white bead.
Okay. So it's the same exact thing. Okay.
Yep. All 3 of those rows are the same.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to get off here because I gotta log into my job at 2:30.
Okay. All right. It was fun to spend some time with you.
Yes, thank you guys so much. And I'll see you next time.
All right. See you later.
Bye. I'll text you a picture when I get done.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Oops.
Me being the animal I am, my ornaments had wide mouths.
Ooh, that's pretty.
And I think they're 2-inch because this is just slightly bigger.
Okay.
Oops, I reworked my way up from the top to do the bottom, and I think I don't know, the bead count is way off. I think it needs to be like 8 in between.
Gotcha.
Around there. But
Yeah.
you know, it worked.
It does work and it's cute.
I think it's a good first one, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good job.
But yeah, Brittany says she gives up for the day. She works on the day, so she's gonna get different ornaments and we'll finish up tomorrow.
Very good.
But thank you. If you could send all of us the link, we're definitely gonna need it.
Okay.
The recording.
Will do.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. This was so fun. I gotta go too.
Okay.
I'll
Thanks,
see.
Heather.
Yep. Take care.
All right. Bye. All right, I'm all the way around the third time, so I'll show you how to close it up again. I'm gonna go through that last bead, that last white bead. Then I'm gonna do the step up again with all those, that 20 beads, and then I'll come out that white bead. And I'm gonna get my ornament. Use this gold one that I have here. Actually, no. I think it's too shiny. So let me get this black one. I'm gonna do 5 beads in between each of the white beads because I think that'll make it tighter. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll go through the white bead next to it. Oh, I messed up. Let me take this out. This is what happens that where was it? On this one, I did 21 white, 21 white, 21 white. So I'm gonna have to take all of this last row out to get rid of this. That's what happens when you're trying to go too fast.
Or just buy a bigger ornament.
Well, that's a good idea. But this one, it's just that one little petal that I have 62 beads on instead of 41. So I'm gonna, oh, that's all the way around too at the beginning. That's where you get to, when I say don't worry, be happy, make sure that you're in a good mood, in a good headspace, because problems happen. And 1 or 2 problems here and there is fine, but when you get like multiple, sometimes that's just the time to put it away and come back at another time. Mhm. My eyes are starting to cross. I think it's a good thing I'm almost done with this. All right, I'm back around. So this is my last petal. I'm going through that white, and then I'll go do my step up through the 20 beads. And then through that white bead. And then I'll put it on my ornament. And I'll do 5 beads in between each white bead. Oops, I'm the wrong color. This part is awkward, like getting it, holding it there. And you see like the threads will look really loose, but the more you go around, it'll tighten up. Ah, then my needle comes off my thread. I'm just holding on to all of it as I go around. Like I said before, tape might help to keep it all in place. The Scotch tape Or even painter's tape would probably work really well since it won't be super sticky. But okay, I'm doing my last section, then I'm going to go through that white bead. And then I'm going to go under a thread path and put my needle through that loop for the knot, and then I'm going to work backwards. No, this time I'm going to go beside it, the 5 beside it, and then do another knot by going under the thread path and going through that loop. So that's 2 knots, so I'm good. I'm going to go up a few beads, and then I'm going to trim it right there. And that is it. That 5 on the bottom, 5 between each of the white beads makes it a little bit tighter, and so it works well. You can, like, once you go all the way around and you see that it's too loose, or if it's not enough space in between each one, like your thread is showing, then you can take those out. That's not a whole lot that you have to redo. Take those out and put an extra bead or take some out or something. This is kind of trial and error, and you'll figure it out. But this one, I think this is the one I did 6. No, I did 5 here, but I did 7 on top. Like I did 7 on top here, 5 down here. So it's kind of loose. This is 6 on top, 6 on bottom. It's loose. The 6 on top and 5 on bottom is pretty perfect. So, like I said, it's kind of trial and error. But regardless, unless you're looking really close, you really can't tell that some of them are loose and some of them aren't. So, what was this one? This one was 5 and 6. This one was 5 on top, 6 on bottom, and then it turned out really good too. So, does anybody have any questions right now? I will work on doing written up directions, and then once I get this link, I will email it out to you. I'll go ahead and take my laptop with me. I just don't know what my situation with my mom's going to be. So I'll take my laptop, and once I get that link, I will forward it on to everybody that signed up for the class to show this at least, and then I will work on written instructions for how to continue on. But before I sign off and stop this, does anybody have any questions right now?
No, this was great. And you take care of your mom. That's more important.
All right, thank you.
I really appreciate it, Kim. And it was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Yeah, thank you so much
Absolutely.
for your patience.
No, that's fine. Tell Amy I said hi. All right, I'm going to go ahead and Sharon finished it. Awesome. Good job, Sharon. I will see you all at another class, maybe. If you want to post I'll post a link of the little thing on Facebook where you can post your finished ornaments to show everybody what they missed. All right. Anyway, have a great weekend. We'll see you all later. Ti jamais, mon